Hey there, and welcome back to Code Fancy. We're going to pick up where we left off with part 3 of our wonderful slide menu CSS tutorial. So we have our four kind of toggles laid out here. We're going to kind of make them come to life in this next video. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, what we're going to do we're going to add a hover state to our labels. So I'm going to go ahead and set the opacity to, let's go about 0.3, should do it. So that's going to be about 30% opacity. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reference that slide menu class again. We want label, and we want to add the hover or pseudo class and tell the browser that when a user hovers over one of these items, we want to change something. So first what we're going to do is we're going to grab the cursor, if I can spell cursor right. There we go. And we want to make it a pointer. The next thing we want to do is we want to grab that opacity again, and we want to bring it in full focus, so it's at 100%. So we're going to use 1. Cool. So if you look back over here, if I hover over one of these items, it comes into focus, and I can clearly see what I have selected, which is super nice. All right, next what we're going to do is we're actually going to activate these toggles. Let me rejig this here. Okay. So if I go back up to that first input on item 1, what we're going to do is we're going to simply just type in checked after that class name so that the browser knows that this one is active or checked. And then what we're going to do is we are going to grab that toggle, and we're going to tell the browser the thing after that, when it's active, we're going to style it differently. So we want to grab slide menu, and we called this, what did we call them? Toggle. And when it is checked, just like the hover pseudo class, we're going to tell the browser when it's in this state, we're going to grab the thing next to it, which is a label in our markup up here. And we want to do something different to that label. So first of all, we want to bring that opacity back up to 1 to start. And you can see this is working out here on the right side because we set that to checked, and we see that what we're doing here is indeed reflected. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our items. And we're going to build out the actual functionality here. So again, we want to look back at the slide menu. And this time, we're going to grab the individual IDs. So we want ID equals, and we have slide item 1. That is not how you select an ID. Okay, so we're going to actually do a hash symbol, and that is how you correctly select an ID in CSS. I'm not crazy. Actually, I'm going to make this a 1 line to keep this a little cleaner. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to go out and we want to select the bar. So that bar BG, and then we want the bar itself. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tell the browser to give the bar a margin left. Oh, we can't see the bar at the moment, but we'll fix that here in a second. Okay, so we want to do this 4 times. So we've got item 1, item 2, item 3, and item 4. So since we're working in increments, or we're breaking down 100%, we've got 4 items here, so we want 25%. Then we want 50%. And then, of course, next up is 75%. So what that's going to do is that's going to move the bar that's going to underline this component to the correct section. Now would be a good idea to probably style the bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to reference that bar background, bar BG, and we want this to display block. We want it to have a width of 100%, and we want the background color to be this nice light gray, and let's give it a height of about 5 pixels with a border radius also of 5 pixels so that we can round the edges on there. And for good measure, let's give it a margin top of 10 pixels. Why not? Okay, so that's going to move that down just a little bit. And then within bar BG, we want to reference the bar itself. Great. Okay. Now this is going to have a width of 25%, so it's going to be a quarter of the container. We want it to have a height of 5 pixels, a border radius of 5 pixels, and then a background color. Let's do kind of a dark charcoal color. That should work nicely. You'll notice if you click up here, nothing is happening. Okay, I figured it out. We need to add this checked pseudo class back to the selectors, and we need to go back and relabel these item 1. We've got item 2, item 3, and item 4. Super important that you name everything correctly. So now if we come back down here, you should be able to click on these and they should behave accordingly. Awesome. All right, stay tuned for our next segment. We'll be adding some animation and some other fancy pieces to this. Stay tuned.